All right, well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I'm Daniel Tutau, the chair of the Poplar Grove Community Council. Currently greeting you all from Laie, Hawaii, where I have a job as a professor of music here at BYU Hawaii. But I'm glad you could all make it in. We, as a community council, are excited for the opportunity to have a new space here at the neighborhood house. We hope we can get some feedback after the meeting of how you like the space. We're still kind of up in our decision of exactly where to keep it, but it's looking promising for now. We used to meet in the gym, but we found it was a very echoey, difficult place to hear. And so the idea is to see if we can be a little more effective in this space. And we can just maybe if we can get you.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thanks. So we're going to just kind of work our way down the list of the different organizations that we have that we'd like to connect with in our neighborhood. After that, we have some elements that we'll be talking about directly from the community council and the board of directors. And then we have a handful of featured presenters. So we'll try our best to roll through this. But the idea of these monthly meetings and this new year, we hope to have some new people involved this year, is to have an opportunity to connect with our neighborhood, to find out what's going on, and to find the resources to answer the questions that we may have. So if you have a question that's valid for everyone to hear, this is a perfect time to ask them as we go through the different community partners. If you have specific to your particular situation, that might be something worth to meet up with, one of the people afterwards and ask that if it's more directly related to what you have going on. We'll kind of be tag teaming this between me and Ricky there in person, in terms of if I don't know if someone's there, he might help move things along as we go through. But first invitation is to see if do we have anyone from the fire department that was able to make it here today.
I don't see anyone from the fire department.
Okay. Anyone from the police?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh, I made sure. I don't know if that's good or not.
Great. We'll turn the time over then to our police department then.
All right. Sorry, go ahead and just go that. Nope. I have 3 minutes, so I'm gonna hurry. Any questions, concerns, issues? Oh, that's like the third community council in a row that has had no questions or concerns. That's making me a little nervous. Year to date, we don't have the full community council year to date numbers, but we can go over a few. We'll first do December of 2024, since that was the last we have. We had 13 total violent crimes in the Poplar Grove area. So that's just in the Poplar Grove Community Council area. We had 9 aggravated assaults, 2 robberies, and 2 rapes. So we had also 70 property offenses in that same time frame in December, with the majority of those being larcenies, so shoplifting stuff type of crime. Year to date, we are up, or year to date from then, so in December, so basically for all the year, we were up 19.7% in violent crimes in the Poplar Grove area. We had 157 the year before, we have 188 this last year. Over a 3-year average, we were up 6.8%. So we usually over 3 years, we averaged 12. Not 12, we average 176, we had 188. So violent crimes in Poplar Grove. With the property offenses, we are up 19.6 as well. We average, or the year previous, we had 849. We had 1,015 property crimes in last year compared to 2023. Over a 3-year average, we're usually average about 1,123. So we actually decreased property crimes by 9%. So we'll see what the total average comes out in the next little while. And then we can also get we'll get January and see how January is starting to look over a 3-year average as well. Any other questions? Brings up any issues? Yeah, Jason.
What sort of folks? Are they neighborhood folks, the homeless folks, or what kind of folks that we get, that are crazy?
The crimes? Yeah, so just like we'll take a look at an average for the domestic violence with the aggravated assaults, 3 of those were domestic violence, so they were locals, like local in the area. The other 3 were not. So with the Robberies, we had 2 in December. I think those were, if I remember right, both, transient related. So, in December.
My home was broken into in June by 3 homeless people. They were there for 3 days, ransacked and stole.
Are they the ones that took it to the river,
Yeah.
Jason? Okay,
Yep, that was us.
yeah, and I know we talked a little bit about that one, but. Yeah, did they? I'll look at the case after, if you want any updates on it.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, 3 minutes up. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Detective Oliver. I think next we have up, again, we always invite our House representatives, but I'm sure they're super busy with the legislative session beginning there, but we still hold space for them in our meetings. I guess next we were gonna see, is Alicia there?
Yes.
Great,
coming
so
up.
go ahead and turn the time over for the mayor's report.
Where do I stand?
Wherever you'd like.
Should I sit?
No, standing's good. Standing's good.
I want to give you my back.
Over by recorder.
Usually we're probably right over here next to the owl, so it can like pick you up, so people online can see you and hear
It's
you.
just too much.
I know. What about public speaking?
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. My name is Alicia, and I am your community liaison to the mayor's office. Great. In your community, within the Salt Lake City boundaries, if there is a specific location that you want to commemorate that has a significant historical value for your community, whether it's an event, a person, or a place, the Salt Lake City Mayor's Access and Belonging Department, along with City Council and Human Rights Commission, is inviting you all to sponsor and submit requests for historical markers within your boundaries. So if you want to participate, you have until February 28th to submit an application. The link is right there. This is a pilot program. They will see how successful it is. We will be funding it. And if it's successful, then we can carry on with the program for the following years, okay? Next one. Oh, yes.
Oh,
I do have a question. What stops them from being stolen? So we have some historical markers. There were some stolen from there were brass or bronze at the Peace Gardens that were stolen a couple years back. And then there at Poplar Grove Park, there were 2 that commemorated 2 baseball teams going to World Series from Poplar Grove.
Mhm.
Those in the last week, the last one was cut off. And about 8 months, the first one was cut off. Can we make these plaques out of something that are worthless in that scenario? And how, we need to replace those.
Okay, I will take that feedback back to the team because they do have online a frequently asked questions document and other information that you might be interested in reading yourself. I don't have an answer to that, but I'll bring it back to them and see if they have any solutions. And if you want to replace any of those markers that you mentioned, then please go ahead and submit those applications, okay? You had a question?
Oh, I was just asking, what constitutes historical?
Yeah.
How old? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, some of them's been around for close to 50 years now.
There is a committee that will be handling that. I'm not sure who will be the committee members, but I'm pretty sure there will be someone, a historian, that will figure out whether your submission is considered historical.
I see.
And they're gonna be comparing information in
So-
city records or perhaps, just county records. So there's a process to it. I don't know the specifics, but please do go to that link, and you can also email the Access and Belonging team for those specific questions so they can respond to you. Because I didn't develop the program and I'm sure that they would have
Sure,
that response.
I
Yes,
just was curious.
yes, thank you.
I was gonna say, put a small inexpensive tracking device embedded in.
Oh, my God.
Okay, that's good feedback, like an Apple tag or something. We have that for our keys. Okay, good one, yes.
Do we need to like own the property or can we just suggest what are the conditions for us recommending a place for designation?
You don't have to own the property. I did read that if it's on a public right-of way, then there's a process to that as well. In asking for permits or maybe moving it just a little bit so that it's not on the public right-of-way. So I don't think it's a high barrier in terms of applying. So, yeah. One last question or comment?
Well, no, just to respond to Jason's, I don't think I got fully answered. So if something was already an established marker, then you wouldn't have to apply for that reestablishment of that marker. You just, like he's saying, just a different material or something to replace it, right? Is the city's willing to replace existing markers, right? Hello.
Okay, so I don't have the full response to that. I've been with the city for a year and a half. And so I will take that question back to the city. It's not- That's my role, for me to get your feedback. And if I don't have the question, I will direct you to the corporate city department. So I'll take that back to the city, okay? All right, moving on to sustainability. To the next slide. I think it's, no, backwards.
That's where.
There you go. Okay. Perhaps you're all aware that your curbside collection route will be changed starting February 3rd. If you go to this link right here, you'll go to the interactive map and you can put in your address and see what day your collection, your trash will be collected. So it's pretty interactive. So those are the pickup days that were before. This is the pickup days now. Yeah, basically, it's, this is being changed so that interruptions can be better responded to and adapted to based on weather conditions, holidays, and any other events that happened throughout the week. Schedule changes will not affect apartment buildings with private dumpsters, businesses with private dumpsters. And those in the Thursday zone, those will not be affected. If you participate in the glass recycling services, you may be assigned a new pickup day by a service provider, Momentum Glass Recycling, via an email or text notification, okay? Next. Okay, so you may all know that the Lehigh Quiet Zone has been confirmed that they're in compliance, so that means that train horns will no longer be sounding, including that crossings 800 south, 900 south, 1700 south within the city limits. We are still waiting approval for the Woods Cross Quiet Zone, which continues to be the sounds from Ogden to Salt Lake City Central Station. So we're still waiting for Federal Railroad Administration approval of an access plan for impacted businesses on the Woods Cross Quiet Zone. On that.
Alicia,
Yes.
so Eric O'Brien could not come to the meeting, and he wants to know if the FRA denies the waiver to reinstate the quiet zone, what does the council mayor's office plan to do in response?
There's an engineer that's working on that detail. And so I think I have Eric's contact, because he's contacted our office. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I could ask the engineer, but I don't have the response to that.
Okay.
Okay. Next, please. Next slide. So next Tuesday will be the State of the City address. It will be at 7 p.m. You can watch the live stream on Facebook and YouTube. And it'll be next Tuesday. It'll be at the city library. Next slide, please. Every other month, I have community office hours. It's a 2-hour commitment. I choose a spot within the community so you can have access to me in person. And this time I will be at Shirzad Market and Restaurant. The main crossroads are Redwood Road and 2100 South. I will be there from 4 to 6 p.m. on a Friday. And the last slide. Oh, no, that's not the next slide. Okay. So the Salt Lake City mobile app has been replaced by My Salt Lake City and app. And so this is what it looks like on your phone. This is a new website. There are many features that have been added to the Salt Lake City mobile, like expanded request categories, enhanced in-app language translation, reference articles of more than 120 city-related topics, And there's also like a location mapping technology that's added to the app or to the website so that there's more specificity to your reporting, okay? So there are also how-to videos on that website. So if you have the time to look at the how-to videos and how to navigate the website or the app, you can go to those. Next slide. Okay. So in mid-December, state leadership invited Salt Lake City to quickly provide a strategic plan addressing the public safety in the city. And this means that there's a need to address public safety, homelessness, and systemic inefficiencies. This means that it requires collaboration across all city governments or all levels of government. So you can access the public safety plan on our website. It's a 50-page document. And it includes, for example, city actions. Salt Lake City will implement solutions within its jurisdiction as quickly as possible, including offering city-owned property for the temporary location of new year-round emergency shelter campus. At a state level coordination, as outlined in the plan, state collaboration and funding are critical to bridging the gaps that perpetuate the cycle of entrenchment of the criminal justice system. And at a legislative participation, we urge that the Utah State Legislature consider all aspects of this plan and take decisive action by funding necessary solutions. And so this is quite an extensive document. We can continue having conversations about it once you've all read it and digested and the information. And so we will continue this conversation on a later time. And the last slide is just my contact information. So if you want to email me, text me, call me. Those are my,
Can we ask you questions right now?
Yeah.
I called you about a week ago. You never called back.
What's your name?
Larry Sugars.
Oh, yes. Hi.
The reason is this right here. I'm meeting with someone tomorrow because I meet a lot with homeless people.
Okay.
So my question is, have you ever talked to them?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's their input? I talk to homeless people. I'm not homeless, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I talk to them a lot because I was talking to a guy today. You know, what do you want? I mean, has anyone ever approached you? So my feeling would be if to do it, you really need to talk to them. Why are they homeless?
For a variety of reasons.
Exactly. Okay, so I wanna volunteer for that.
Okay. That's good. You want to volunteer and how?
I'm meeting with Andrew tomorrow,
Okay, great.
just to say, I don't know what to do, but I meet with people under the bridge. I mean, I treat them like they're real people.
Okay, what time are you meeting with Andrew?
3:30,
Tomorrow?
yes.
Okay, Can I join
And
your
I
meeting?
told you about this about a week ago.
okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't respond. I don't know when you
That's all
called me,
right.
but
The truth is,
Mhm.
it's a huge problem.
yes, it is.
And I used to get into statistics, so part of the correction would be, what kind of data is there? I mean, how do you track this stuff?
I don't have that information, but the state does have Utah homelessness department. So I mean, there's several.
Well,
I don't have that
Andrew's
data.
ahead of parts.
Right,
I love that.
I'm glad you're meeting with them.
Yeah,
He would have the data. I don't have that data.
okay.
I don't have access to that data. Okay,
And one thing to
We have
add to
question
it,
in the Back too, keeps
Yeah.
the hand for being raised.
oh, hold on one second. He hasn't,
Yeah.
Mr. Curtis hasn't finished just saying what he needs to say.
on my street, I've been complaining for a long time about people go very fast up and down the street.
Okay.
And there are homeless people that live in, so I still see people all the time going up fast up and down the street.
Yeah.
How this ties into the homeless thing is there was a trailer, or whatever they're calling it, U-Haul or whatever, on the street just behind my house.
Okay.
And people are zooming up and down the street. I'm being a little sarcastic.
Okay.
But I see a whole bunch of police there.
Mhm.
I used to work with police. They do a good job, but it's kind of like, I would like to see people out on the street slowing them down on 9th West. So anyhow, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we have folks in transportation planning.
There's a point in time counts next week,
That's
next
right.
Wednesday. I Googled the details, it's very easy to sign up. I've signed up and I can't even do that.
Could you come up here and talk so people can? so
Yes,
I'll picture
there's a
that.
point in time count on January 29th, an opportunity to.
Yeah.
That decides the funding the federal government gives to us to be able to provide the services that homeless folks need. You know, we'll partially fund that plan that Alicia talked about. That's on January 29th. I don't have the details on signing up, but it's an easy Google, and I'm sure the community council can get that on their website.
How much is the city asking for?
I have no idea. I just know that's the means in which the numbers within the city bounds, the county bounds. That money then goes to Salt Lake County and then distributes it to the cities for those things.
So thank you for adding that. So I can send you the information if you want to post it on your website,
Yeah,
so that everyone can access it. And then I could email it to you directly. So you can sign up for on.
Go out to like 4 o'clock in the morning, you find
Yeah.
people who are still sleeping
Right,
down
right.
at the shelters.
It's just
in
for
town.
you.
Just for me.
Oh, it is.
And
Hey, I ain't
I
going
will
to
take
the-
your comment, question.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can sign up.
Question for the outrageous pay increase asked for the mayor. Get passed $200,000+ a year more than US senators and other people. They don't pass.
Yes.
Oh, God. What an outrage. More than US senators? Another comment, I have a comment. You do good to comment to the state and city people. I've gone before the city council. I must say, state that Ross Anderson, who ran for the mayor last time, had the same proposal that I had. To solve problems, use the Wing Point Golf Course as a mental institution right there. It's got a police station to the north, it's surrounded by a fence, it's surrounded by a moat and railroad trains. And I also suggested using as a camping area the state school trust lands out on the west side.
Okay.
Well, I have a homeless person that he's a derelict, but he can work at Amazon and save some money. It's like all the ideas that I consider decent are completely rejected. Doesn't have to be good. It's like people, the guy, I could never get in charge, they'll hold the guy in charge of the airport. He refused my call and my suggestion of that idea. But that and a comment that, the pay increase went through, I think is absolutely an outrage.
Okay, well, I will bring all your feedback to the city and I will provide the resources that you need on your website. And I will follow through for the following meeting on whatever you need me to answer for today's comments and questions, okay? And if not, you can contact me directly, and if I don't answer my, my messages, please text me. That's much quicker at times instead of, leaving me voice messages, so we get very busy, so, okay. That's
Right,
it.
it's the Captain James of the Salvation Army. I heard something about a point in time count. Did I hear that Poplar Grove will put that on their website as soon as you get the information?
I don't know. I think.
Yes,
Will
we
you?
can put it on the website. We'll also put in the recap email. So Alicia, just send that over and we'll send that out to everybody.
Okay, sounds good.
And I have a quick question.
Yes.
What's the city's policy right now with people living out of their trailers and vans parked on the public streets?
If they are parked there for more than 48 hours, then they can get moved. They will be asked to be moved. Now, right now, the plan, the public safety plan is to be more descriptive or be more specific about removing RVs. So I think they're in the works of revamping or changing the policy on that.
I guess I have a quick comment. So for the vans that are parked on the side, right, as they're sort of in most of our parks on this side. You say 48 hours and then, you guys have like that right to sort of move and tow. Is there a way to expand upon just like, okay, well, they drove half the block down the street and then just parked? Cause like, them stationary in one spot for
Yeah.
48 hours, like they just move, 6 feet and then they can do
Right.
another 48 hours and then they
It's the same
move.
It's
And
the
they
same block
Right.
face. Same block face.
Okay,
So if they're on the same block face, that doesn't count. They have to move a different block face.
but then good example, right? So, not Pioneer Park, the Unity Peace Gardens, there's like dog park. There's always that line of trailers that are parked there. So they'll go from the north side to the east side, then back to the north side, then the west side.
So that one we might be able to, because it's a cul-de-sac. So
Yeah.
that might still be considered the same block face, but that's gonna be something that has to go to legal first. And the vehicle mitigation team's out there, I think, once a week trying to.
Yeah, cause I mean, you guys painted it red, which is great. It's like now they don't park on the red paint, which is kind of nice, but like today I just went there before coming here. And there was just like 5 trailers lined up. And I drive past that road literally daily and it's like the same trailers are parked in the same spot and then they don't get called or reported, which is great. I mean, that's on us to call them, but then they show up and then by the time I come back from work, take my dog to the park, they go from that north side to the east side. And then it's like, well, we got 48 hours. It's like that. I mean, at that point, can you just do like a block as a whole? Maybe like, I don't even know, right? Like,
You have to be.
like a mile radius of this car, like, hey, we saw you here in this area for the last, I don't know, 48 hours, you gotta like leave this like 10-mile radius zone. Go somewhere else.
Changed in ordinance, but I see your point.
So Ricardo, and the Poplar board, if there's a particular, specific city department, like compliance,
Yeah,
that you'd like for them to come and present on specific topics, I can help you arrange that. Just let me know in advance, because sometimes we have to do it a month or 2 in advance, because they would have more specific information on to provide on how.
No, that'd be great, yeah.
Right? So just let me know, and we could do maybe that topic next month.
that'd be really cool.
Have someone in compliance stuff.
Yep, sweet.
Great. Thank you all. Thank you, Alicia. I'm assuming there's anyone from the city council, Alejandro, or team that were here to present? No?
No intern?
Okay. We have a spot here for the other side village. Did we have anyone that would want to address?
We do. Yep, she's getting ready.
Then the floor is yours.
Yeah, sign here would be great. Oh, no. Calm down. Hopefully the screen is okay.
It is. It was soccer. I just wanted to come by and tell you guys, we are officially open now. We've moved our first residents in, just the very end of December, so they've been there now for a few weeks. We have 40 homes in place already, with 8 of those being occupied, and we'll have more in the future. We just recently promoted 4 of our students at the prep school up to seniors, so in another few months, those 4 will be moving into the village. Mo here, he's one of our staff here at the other side village. He's the director of outreach, and he is actually going to be living on site there as well. So we have some of our staff that live there on site to help provide that continuing support and culture. So our donut shop's still open. We want to bring donuts, but they sold out completely today, early.
Oh,
So
yeah, you guys.
hopefully you come to check it out. We're on Redwood Road, 760 South. So invite you to come by, say hello, tell them you're from the neighborhood. Bet you they'll give you a free donut if you ask nice. Tell them you came to the meeting and Neil said you could have one.
No, we
So-
need to support them.
Yes, well, no, you get your first one free. We have to give you a first taste. So anyway, just wanted to answer any questions if you have any.
How many did you try to bring in and how many were rejected?
You mean from when they come into prep school?
Yeah.
We, basically, it's up to them. So if they come in and they're willing to live by our rules and meet the
So did they
chronic
all do
homelessness
that, or
criteria, then they're eligible.
Did
and then
they
they
all do
come-
that, or
Pardon?
did they all choose to stay or not?
No, not everybody decides to stay, but most of them do. When they get to that point and they come through the interview process, they usually come in, and some, once they're there for a little while, decide it's not for them and they leave, but generally they do. Yeah.
I'd
say the
majority, have stays.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got some friends that live at Sugar House Park. And I talked to them. And it's, I don't, because I'm saying there's housing available.
Yes,
And they're
there are
going, "I don't wanna go
resources,
there."
there's ours, and sometimes, people have their own reasons of why they're doing what they're doing, but we offer an opportunity for somebody that wants to do something different, who wants to get housed, who wants to be sober. So Mo is our
They're
director of
sober.
recruitment, So he's the one you need to connect with. If you have people you want to refer, or you want to invite him out to somewhere where you're seeing people camping, he comes out anywhere that we find people, so. Mo's your guy. You can find our phone number is actually really easy. It's 801-618-1234.
What's that last part again?
1234. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Where have these initial people come from?
All over. They come from shelters, from referrals, encampments. We have a
Homeless
couple people.
shelters, referrals from homeless advocates, case managers.
Recovery programs.
That saw us on the news. We've had families that said, hey, we have somebody out here, they're on the island right here. We've had people call in and say, here's some people that have been homeless in this area. So wherever it is, if you have somebody, you see somebody, you can call me and I'll come right then and talk to the person to see if they're ready.
Yeah, because in your initial campaign, you promised especially our neighborhood that you would focus here first.
But we
Yeah,
have.
I have reached out in this neighborhood in different locations, and there's some people who said they've had some talking areas where the homeless people are at, and I said, give me a call, we'll absolutely go to that area and do outreach anytime.
So
We've
they're
had
all
several come
referrals,
right
or
off
do you
the
guys
street.
go out to the
Yeah,
street?
Mo goes out, we do all of it. We're looking for them anywhere. They come from,
Yeah.
you know, if they've gone to
Especially
Aussie House
this
first or Detox or
very
anywhere they're
quick.
coming from.
You see there's some people hanging out or starting to show up, give us a call, and we'll come in and do outreach and say, hey, here's what we're offering, here's what's available to you.
We've done things
Anytime.
with parks.
So we expect
So-
this community.
Yeah, we need your referrals.
Him first and then me.
Yes.
Snow behind you.
These are housing, like short-term housing or?
No, long-term. This is permanent supportive housing. They go through our program, they graduate from there. We work on life skills, stabilizing health, finances, mental health, all those things. And, you know, making sure that they're able to maintain their sobriety, and then they move into the village and they have continuing ongoing support, but they're able to live there as long as they choose to.
And then, do you guys have any like information available like at like Chapman Library, just because there's a lot of transient activity or people that
We
kind
can
of.
certainly take some there.
Just because I feel like, I mean, I
Yeah.
live right across the street from it,
Brochures.
and there's, a lot of brochures and just like maybe.
Yeah, we
flyers and
have
those.
things we can do.
Good.
We also have, oh darn, I should have brought we've got little bracelets that we hand out that have our phone number on it. So if somebody's panhandling, you can hand them out and just say, hey, you know, if you're interested in housing, give these guys a call. We're really trying to reach anybody, so Mo is your first point of contact. So if you have somebody in your neighborhood that's camping out, somebody you've met, somebody you've talked to, please call us. We're happy to come, and Mo, that's what his job is to come and talk to people.
That's a heck of a job.
It is. I've been,
Mo, why don't you tell us about your history? So many people know.
yeah, so I'm the recruitment director for the Other Side Village, and, you know, I smoked crack for 20 years, 19 years clean and sober. I was homeless in the Tenawai district for 10 years, so I kind of know both sides, and also not help a person get to the other side as well. So I'm familiar with the story they tell, and at the end of the day, we can offer the world. If the person's not ready, it's never gonna work. So we'll come out and talk to anybody, anywhere, right?
You would go to Sugar House Park?
Yeah, I've done outreach there before.
We'll go anywhere.
Hey, that's the people that I know because I walk my dog with.
So yeah, get to.
I charge at Danny.
Yeah, I go in a tent, now homeless encampments.
Yeah, I do too.
And you can come on one of our outreach events and have volunteer for those too, so get in touch with Mo. We can help, use your help.
Where do you get your funding?
Variety of sources. We have, most of it's just private donors, family foundations. We have a lot of family foundation donors. That's probably the largest group. And we did have some funding from the state for the money that they had for the ARPA, the whole rescue fund stuff, that's the housing money that the state dedicated to housing. So we applied for some of those grants and we did get some of that funding, but the rest is all community donors.
I've not been to where your place is, so I don't know its setup, but is it something that would, I don't know, like have a small art festival or something as a?
Absolutely. If you go to our website, you can see what the vision is for the finished village. We'll have a community performing arts center, 600 seat venue with an amphitheater on the backside. We have lots of open common space that will be we envision having community festivals, activities. People can come and use our space to host different things. The theater will be available for community events. The school, the charter school that's right by us, we're gonna be able to use that for them as well. They don't have an auditorium. So this is a community resource. So.
This is
Yes,
James
lots of-
on the computer. Can I get Mo's contact information?
Yes, do you wanna?
Yeah, absolutely. You wanna post it on?
I'll post it. Yeah, we can do that.
You're gonna type it in online?
But we are having a public open house on Monday. You're welcome to come. You can walk through some of the houses and see what we're doing over there. Our pavilion community center is open now too.
And on that note,
Yeah.
Karen and I attended the celebration, and it was great, and we
And ribbon
jumped,
cutting.
yeah, the ribbon cutting, and that was great, other than the wind was so
It's cold,
cold.
wasn't
Oh
it?
my God, it was brutal. But, we did jump into one of those, small homes, and we're just, that's all any human being needs, period.
Yeah, a beautiful, safe place. and
Beautiful.
people-
Oh, yeah.
They're homes. They're not.
No,
there's
no, it's a
this is
home.
Nothing small. These are homes that you would be happy to live in. We built something that is just as nice as anybody else would want.
It would
Uh,
fit between
we're
that
creating
wall
a
and you
perfect
though,
home for
right here,
people.
that's about it.
And the support structure to help them
Right.
maintain, their housing, their sobriety, everything, and give that support that they need on
Anyway,
there.
it was awesome, thank you.
So the address is in here. I'd like to come over and see it.
It's
So Monday.
Open house.
1882.
Next
West
slide.
Union Avenue. I'm usually there during the day. I'm overseeing the house construction. So if you're there, come during the day, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm usually there. If you don't, give us a call. We'll, I can
Sorry,
meet you.
Daniel.
But come Monday, come see it.
Did they deliver those houses from Cache Valley that was all over?
All
the news?
over. Yeah, we did one in Cache Valley. We just delivered some last week from Cache Valley,
Right.
from Davis County and from Ogden.
Wow.
We had 6 houses we put in last week.
So that is the village you're talking about is, off of Indiana.
Correct.
Right.
1882 West
Yeah.
Indiana.
I drove past them over there wondering what it was.
Yeah.
Because I remember it as a dumping place.
It's an open field and
Yeah.
so it was challenging to develop, but we were able to work with the state and do the environmental cleanup and everything, and it's a great site now. It wasn't
Yeah,
much.
the homes are
Yeah.
beautiful. I was really impressed by it.
We'd love to have you come over and please, when you run across anybody, refer them to us, give them Mo's phone number. We'll make sure that we bring some bracelets next time. We can just give them to you, and when
That'd be
you see
great.
someone, you can hand them out and say, give us a call.
Are families living there or just individuals?
Single adults, yeah, there's a lot more resources for families who are experiencing homelessness. Single adults are the least served in the regular, because they're considered, able-bodied. And so the preference is almost always goes to families with children.
Is
And then the single adults are the ones that really struggle without having a lot of other opportunities.
Is it mixed? So men
And women,
and
yep,
women.
it's co-ed.
Go ahead.
And our prep school, they live in a co-ed environment too, separate departments that they all work together.
From an aesthetic point of view, the houses are nice, and I'm sure the community's gonna be nice too, and I'm going over there since it was a pond.
Yeah.
And I just wondered, side, if that wrecking yard is just gonna be a statement of art, or is that gonna be moved out?
I'm afraid so, he's a property owner and he's entitled to run his business there, so we have a fence that goes across, we'll provide some barrier between us and. He's had to do some cleanup, but yeah, I don't foresee him, until he moves on from the next thing and we'll,
I didn't know if he had an avenue to get out,
Yeah, he does, there's a driveway,
He does
Yeah. and it's storage, he has a storage business, so people come in there and, of course, I'd love to see the junkyard cleaned up, but it's permitted, so.
What about the prep school? How many people are kind of served through the prep school?
We have room now, well, we've just changed, so we have about 23.
So at first, when we meet people on the street, they're not quite sure about our offer. We meet twice a month in the downtown main library. It's called Village Connect, and get people prepared for the prep school. And once they go through there, and they move into the prep school is absolutely free. And they get assigned a coach, right? And kind of, hey, I need help with my mental health. I need help with my finance. I need help with being able to communicate within a therapeutic community. So they advance at different stages. Once they go freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, they graduate, and then they can move into one of the tiny homes. By that time, we're hoping that you're a leader, you're a mentor in the community. Most people I interview have had jobs, they've had a house. How do you keep it and maintain it? That's what the homeless prep school is for.
Where's that at?
That's in Murray, and that's our temporary location. We have purchased the former LDS chapel that's on 100 South, at about 630 East, 100 South. Decommissioned, the wards that were in that moved to that new high-rise one on State Street. So we purchased that from the LDS church. We're retrofitting that. We're waiting on our building permit, and we're building a housing facility behind it, which will be our prep school location. And there we'll have, I think, 50
It'll be
50
60,
beds,
it'll be
60?
60 total
Yeah.
staff.
staff and about 50 for people.
About 50.
Currently, we can house about 23 at our prep school location. And we're always, we get to that and then somebody graduates or leaves. So we've never quite gotten to the point where we had to turn somebody away yet. So we've got room for more. Since we've moved new people into the village, we've got openings now. We've just had, 3 new people join us?
Yeah, we're gonna have probably 8 more in the next week and a half or so.
We'll have a full load, but we've got 4 more that'll be advancing to graduate to the village before too long.
And if the Winnie should commit to the program, how long does it take from being a freshman to senior to graduation date?
It's not based on, it's not time based.
Yeah.
It's based on, once you meet with us and meet the coaches and figure out, hey, you know what? Here's why the American dream is on the table. Here's some of my blind spots that I've missed over the years. And you begin that behavioral change. So it's not time based. It's based on you demonstrating, hey, here's some of the behavioral changes that I've agreed to and I want to make in my life. And then you petition not the coaches or the staff, the people that are already in the program, your peers. That's you petition to say, hey, you know what? I feel like I'm a lot better at managing my medications. I'm better at doing this. I want to petition to go from sophomore to junior. So,
Yeah.
But what,
Yeah,
maybe
totally
asking, what's the average,
Anything
about
from
6 months to a year.
our shortest one, was Shireen, who was on the streets for 10 years. She got through it about in 8 months. But she had a lot, so if somebody like her, who's literally lived on the street and been an addict for most of her adult life, but literally on the street for 10 years. So she is now, and she's living as a resident and she's doing very well. We've had several of people who've been homeless for many years. So, and camping now.
Awesome, great.
All places. So I'll let you
So,
guys know.
We're really grateful to have our new neighbors here, and sorry, but we're gonna continue to move on. We invite you guys to check them out next week. They're having that open house where you can come check out the facility as well, and we'll continue to have the Other Side Village involved with our meetings, and maybe we even look forward to some of the new residents getting involved in the council as well. We'd like to see were there any notices from either Neighborworks or Neighborhood House that wanted to be shared?
Yes.
Got a hand in the back, yep. Yeah, I'm here. I'll come up. Well, I wasn't expecting to talk, but I always got good stuff to talk about for Neighborworks. So, my name, if you guys don't know me, I recognize a few of your faces out there. My name is David Foster and I work for Neighborworks Salt Lake. And I oversee our real estate development. You might be asking about one of our projects. That's the multi lanes. It's getting closer. It's over in plan review right now. And so we're hoping that we can break ground on it, maybe early spring. Yeah. So it's getting really close. Other stuff that's going on in Neighborworks, we're recruiting for YouthWorks right now. So if you guys know any young people that are between 14 and 18 years old that would be interested in getting into our pre-employment program. We're accepting applications. I don't know what you guys know about that, but it's a program for youth 14 to 18 years old. And it's like a 12-month or a 12-week program. It's a paid program. And it's like 3 different parts is what I call it. It's kind of like classroom stuff, field trip stuff, and then just work, hands-on experience out there. Another thing that we have quite a bit of money still for is we've got some grant money that we've been given to by the city, and we're doing grant work in other cities as well now too, but we've got some grants available to help fix up your homes. They're $25,000 grants. There's no catches to it, and it's qualifying, based on your income and stuff like that and your family size. What else? We're always accepting applications for our West Side Leadership Program. That's another program that we have that's in conjunction with the University of Utah. And it's basically like help to create leaders in the community. I know sometimes you guys are out there like, how do I make a difference? And I hear this all the time, like, this is happening and this is happening. We really need this. Now, if you guys come through our West Side Leadership Program, it's kind of a program set up to like teach you guys how to, to take on these projects and how to get them done. So, what else? What's that program called?
It's called the West Side Leadership Institute. Yep. Yeah, and like, it's really been growing in size. I know the last class we graduated like 45. I think there's about 45 students, and it's in Spanish and English too. So it's a great program. If you go onto our website and all the stuff I'm talking about,
is in there, any questions for me? I know there's a lot of other stuff we got going on, but so I'm excited to come look at your place.
Because I'm talking with one of your staff about having them build one of our houses as part of that
Oh,
program.
yes, yeah, with Whitney, right? Yep, that'd be great. We've been talking about that. We'd love to do something like that.
Great.
Yeah, but like, honestly, just go check out our website. There's a lot of stuff that we got going on. We try to go to all the community council meetings. We try to have our, have our little antennas out there trying to figure out what you guys need, what the city needs, how we can help, how we can be a part of that. That's really what Neighborworks is all about. I know a bunch of you guys know about Neighborworks, but it's a community-based program, and we're just trying to help you guys and make the world a better place and the west side a better place to be. And so lots of stuff going on. So please check out our website. My name's Dave Foster. If you got any questions, you can always call over there and ask for me, and I'll try to help you out however I can. So any questions for me? Yes.
Which project are you looking to break ground on spring?
Oh, so we have one over here basically on Euclid Corner. Well, we was calling it Euclid in the beginning. And so we changed the name to Maltaire Lanes, and we found out through one of these meetings actually that there was a former bowling alley there, and it was called Maltaire Lanes. Does anybody remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us do. And also, if anybody of us in our age group is bowling there, if you have photos of it, I mean, I have talked to the family, of course, but I'm looking for more photos of the old Maltaire Lanes. And if anybody has any, they can, kind of hook onto me and.
I
putting
don't
a
have
little
any
history together.
photos of it, but a person gave me like an article about the
Yeah.
bowling alley
Yeah.
a while back.
Yeah, we do have all the articles on it, and I've
Yeah.
talked with the family members, but I'm actually looking for photographs.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know where they bought their lanes from and all that,
Yeah.
but I'd like to put a little history together for all of us who at one time bowled.
So I think just this to kind of show something about how Neighborworks tries to work. We wanted to kind of like pay honor back to that. So when I first started here, the project we called it, when we turned it all in, it was Euclid Corner. And so that's how it was. And then I just happened to be at one of these meetings, and then that came out. And we're like, okay, but to pay honor back to that, we really need to go back and change that. So it took some time going back down there and saying, hey, change the names on the plans, change this, change that, the project. So I'm excited that it's gonna be called Maltaire Lanes now. So, and then so if you do run across some pictures, I'll give you my card. If you ever run kind of any pictures, anything that you've been gathering, let me know, because when we get those built, we're trying to put up some little memorabilia in there
Very
to
cool.
kind of like, tell that story so it's not forgotten.
Yeah, as long as it's not made out of brass.
Sounds like we
No, black
there.
Bronze. Or bronze or.
Don't forget the jacking.
Yes. Yeah, we don't want.
Great,
to-
awesome.
We don't want to spend too much money. This
Yeah.
Yes, Brian.
And I just like to say that this is a really good program that is available to people that need it. And I just recently qualified for a $25,000 grant and having my house completely rewired. And it's just really nice to have these programs and these people that are willing to do these things. They've got the paint their house where they come out and had a group come out and repaint my house. And every year they have people come around and rake the leaves up in your yard. And so it's just really nice that this program comes together with the community and provides so much support.
Thanks for saying that, Brian. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know about what he's talking about, but one of those is Paint Your Heart Out. We try to paint 10 to 15 houses every year. It's all donated time. And then, we've started another one that mimics it. So that's what he's talking about. And so please reach out if you know somebody that needs their house fixed up, think they might qualify. We have some money right now. It'll run out, but then we'll hopefully get, reloaded with some more grant money. And I foresee it just, them to just keeping us filled up with some grant money. So All right, any other questions for me?
All
Okay,
right, thank you so much. All right, moving along, we'd always like to express our thanks to Neighborhood House for hosting us here. We have a few announcements directly from the community council that we just wanted to make sure that we're continuing to support our local sugar space here. The next slide will have information about the open mic night that we hear has been going on there. We don't have much information. We just like to support local events that are going on. So again, feel free to reach out to Utah Slim to see what they have going on with those events. We actually already covered that earlier, so we can keep going on to let you guys know that, hey, you too might want to be involved in our community council, and you can do so by being a member of the board. The council holds an annual election every March. And so we just wanted to make sure that you guys knew about that so you can start getting ready to run your campaigns.
Keep throwing me this year. This is, I am up for re-election, so. Not enough.
So it's we asked for a 2-year term, though we are flexible. If you know, we've had a couple of members that have had a drop before their terms are over. Some of those have been temporarily filled that will be ratified at that March election. But we also have for the chair and the treasurer that are coming up. And so we've had a secretary that had to resign because of other commitments as well. So there's definitely room to be involved. It's not a huge time commitment. There's a board meeting once a month, as well as our community meetings that we have on the 4th Wednesdays. So just keep in mind that we'll have open elections on that date there. And so in March, we'd like to again thank Neighborhood House for hosting us. And the last element that we want to quickly talk about before we turn over to our presenters, and we'll try to move through this quickly. There will be a lot of comments, but we'll just kind of plow through this. But as a officially organized, recognized organization, the community council is often given information about different things that the city is trying to do in terms of rezoning or permissions or things like that for new builds. And we post these as they come to us onto our website. So if you go to poplargroveslc.org, underneath the news tab, you drop down its organizational input. And the most recent one that is posted on there is one that we're going to be talking about just briefly today, is a notice of application administrative design review on the corner of 900 South and basically 700 West. It's right there next to the freeway. Now this project is to build a 10-story residential building with 240 units and 178 parking spaces. The applicant in this case has already been approved for a 7-story unit, but they are asking for permission to raise that 3 more stories. As the Poplar Grove Community Council and the recognized community organization, we have been asked to put an input on the formal proposal that has been made. And so for the discussion tonight, we basically are just trying to get opinions. So we're going to hold a little vote at this meeting right now to just get a head count of, from our meeting, how many people are in support or against this. Now, the ideas that we want to convey here are the concerns raised by their neighbor, the Summon organization that is the next door to them. They have the pyramid there that you might have recognized if you've driven up that frontage road. They've brought up some issues. Do we have comments? I'm sorry, I'm just talking.
I was being just a smart ass.
Okay, great. So three of the main issues that have been brought up from them are, first, the proposed building's height and proximity will increase freeway noise and block their sunlight, directly impacting their spiritual practices. The high density nature of the development raises concerns about vandalism and disturbances to their sanctuary. And there's been, as they feel, there's been insufficient engagement by the developer to address their specific issues. And so as a council, it's important for us to weigh in on these concerns alongside the potential benefits of the project and determine whether we support or oppose the changes. Now, again, whether we oppose it or not, it doesn't mean we have a lot of power to do much, but we want to make sure that we are reflective of those here in our community and those that are in the room at this time. So we're basically, I wish we had more time to discuss. We'll have to take this offline, or you can reach out directly. But basically, we want to take a little vote from those, and we're going to have one of the other board members here kind of keep track of those that have concerns for or against this project. Is basically, are you a yes, or you no, are you an abstain? We will take this information and then part of our review give the concepts of what we've, the concerns that people have had back in a formal review. But in consideration of the time of the presenters that are here, we're not going to open the floor to open discussion. So just, I know not all of you have all the information, but ultimately it's that there's this large 10-story building that was already approved at 7-story. They're trying to get exceptions to make it taller and have more flexibility in their space. With that in mind, are we, those in the room that are members of the Poplar Grove community, can we get a head count of those that are in favor? We don't need names or anything, just a total number, and just maybe signal to Ricky
If it's issue variance request for the code, or is this something different?
What it is they get a variance based on building preservation. So
So
for
will this
those of
go
you
through
who
the
are new
planning
to the
commission as a
neighborhood,
variance?
this used to be, it was called the Andrus property, and it was a mess, and they did scrap, and anyway, it was just a mess. And there were 2 buildings on the property that are still there that have been rehabbed and are being used. And so based on that, this proposal can get this exception because they have preserved these 2 buildings. And I maybe have the name wrong, but it's called Building Preservation Zoning. And so that's why they can ask for 3 more stories instead of just the 7. And anyway, so
I guess
that's what it's being based on.
my only question, and I don't know if Daniel has an answer to this, is it like they want 3 extra floors so they can do what most of the new builds are doing downtown, where there's like a restaurant or business on like the main floor?
No.
Or is it just they want to just cram more people inside?
My thinking is this is a very small property. I mean, it's only like, it's less than an acre. The whole thing is less than an acre. And the garage is actually going to be next to this, it's going to be behind it. And it's not actually part of the apartment building itself. And my thinking is because it's such a small piece of property, in order for them to recoup their cost in doing this, they feel they need to have 252 units, which is what this is, and like 179 parking spaces.
Well, the only reason I brought up the variance is because I just went through a 2-year process to apply for a variance to build a single family residential home on 4 South and got denied by the city and was told several times that they don't grant variances. So it's really interesting that now all of a sudden some big developer wants to build a 250 unit apartment.
Yeah,
So I
isn't
vote
it though?
no.
Anyway, so let's have a vote. And all those in,
The address again, the address once more, please.
On the board.
It's right across the street from the like skate or
the bike
the
park.
bike park and the community garden. Where the
900 south and right next to I-15. 700 west.
700.
It's on
You
the
know what these
board.
ponds and buildings are?
Yes,
You don't see it in this nice picture. On the other side of the picture, there's a hole. This is where the summum sanctuary is, between the freeway and this big, huge picture, this hole.
And we have a greenhouse,
I thought we were gonna discuss all this.
Yeah, so let's go to the voting.
At a time.
No, we're not doing that. He said we were not doing that.
we on the board are willing to discuss this further, either maybe in a special meeting or something. The thing is, we need to respond to this by February 3rd, which is like, what, a week and a half away. And so we don't have a lot of time. And
So a
if you-
reminder that all of this information is on our website, where I mentioned in terms of where you go to poplargroveslc.org. go to news, and under that is organizational input. The first entry there has all of the information that has been sent to us with the proposal, and the additional information is linked to in that article. So we encourage you to express your concerns directly as well. Just as a board, we just wanted to when we're putting in our numbers, we have to say, if we held a vote, what were the numbers? So if we could just get a quick count of, again, I know it's somewhat limited in what you understand, but those that are opposed to this variance, and those that are, so first of all, who is against it, if any?
My hand is raised.
Is anyone for it? Might be.
No, we don't.
There's like 20 against.
Okay, and then can we get a number for those that feel it's supportive of it?
That is 0.
Okay, thank you. So again, I appreciate you all for taking that moment.
You said those who might abstain.
Oh, okay. Anyone
Sorry.
abstain?
Realities.
That is a member of the community?
0 abstaining.
0, however.
Thanks for.
Can I say one more thing, Daniel? If you have real concerns that you want us to address as a council, please send us an email through the website, and we will include that in our response to the city.
That's exactly, I was gonna follow up with what Karen said. Yeah, so I know we didn't give you enough information, and you want to reach out, please do so. And then if you have any comments, right, concerns about it, which I strongly implore that you guys do submit those to us. When we submit our response to them with, here are our votes after we talked about it. Here is some commentary from the actual people that voted no, right? So they can have actual like names and faces, and they can see it as like, well, they'll just wave it away and still grant the thing regardless. Let's.
Do you know if this is affordable housing? What is it exactly? Just market rate?
There's
As far as we know, it's a market rate.
1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. So
It's
there'll
all
be a
over.
wide range.
It's not affordable housing.
No, it's not.
We've talked to them.
Yeah, and so also, not only if you personally can send something into Amy, I think her name's Amy Thompson, she's the planner. I think the more input she gets from individuals and from us, the more likely they might be to reconsider, but I don't know.
So thank you all for your participation there. We would encourage you to continue to engage there, and just we try to put everything that comes across our board onto the website. We don't send out an email for every single one because I value my inbox space, so we try to reserve the emails we send out for meetings or for very pressing elements. But please be aware that you can speak up yourself on projects that you are opposed and be involved without us here as well. Now, for the public presentations, we have 4 different people that are presenting, and with the time, we would really need to keep to the time. So if I kind of rush you along a little bit, please be aware that we will have follow-up emails that we can put, this whole slide deck in if people would like. But the 4 presenters that we have will be Salt Lake County Youth Services, Rise Up School of Dance, Salt Lake Transportation, Salt Lake City Public Library, and then the last one will be the Salt Lake Planning Division. And we're set up in this order as well, that if you have a specific issue, feel free to hang out after the meeting and talk to the people directly. But we're going to try to get through this as soon as we can and try to stick to our allotted time for each of these presenters. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to Diana Johnson from the Salt Lake County Youth Services about their workshops.
Hi, everyone. I'll try and be super fast. So I'm with Salt Lake County Youth Services. We're in South Salt Lake, and I've been coming to the Poplar Grove event out here, Moving in the Grove, for a couple of years now, which I enjoy. But I wanted to let you guys know about some of the services that we offer. We have free workshops for 4th through 6th graders, parents and teens, and we offer dinners with our parenting classes. And we also offer treats and things for the kids classes as well as the teen classes. We have different ones for different things, but we also offer all of these other services, counseling services, substance use disorder services, juvenile respite services for parents who might be having issues with their kids and teens. They can drop them off for a break so that they can get some much needed self-care and maybe some counseling services if they need them. And we also offer family care support specialists if there's parents that might need their while they're navigating systems and things, which can need help with those things. So I'm gonna leave these with you.
Absolutely.
If you wanted to take care of those. Some of the workshops that we have are listed here. I teach staying connected with your teen, which is for parents. And I go through the teenage years and teach parents how to stay connected with their teens during those difficult years. And
Well, when they're old.
it's actually been very successful. A lot of parents really enjoy it. It's been great. We also have one for parents of kids aged 9 to 14, a little bit younger. That one's also taught in Spanish, and we can have them taught in English or Spanish, so you know. And we have one called Me Time. That's for anxiety and depression for teenagers. It's a very popular workshop as well. And Guiding Your Choices. That's the same as the one here that's taught in Spanish. That's for the 9 to 14-year-old. And on the next slide, which she'll get that for me. There you go. The Body Project, that's for girls. That helps them accept their body how they are. We teach them that it does not matter how you look. It just, you accept who you are and be proud of who you are. And then Stress Busters is the one I mentioned for 4th through 6th graders. We teach them how to problem solve while they're young so that they don't get into those problem areas and they can manage their moods and anxiety and depression. But we offer all of those classes and we're more than excited to come out and hopefully offer them here for your community, no charge, and all of those other services as well. That's a little bit about us.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks
Okay,
so
that's
much.
me. And we're just gonna go really quick. I have quite a few slides, but we'll just sum it up quickly, Karen and Daniel. You might think it's kind of strange that there's a dance studio here talking to you at community council, but we are different. We're a nonprofit and we focus on integrating mental health curriculum with our dance curriculum. I would love to have you come out and do some grow events. That's for our ages 10 and up. We do outside of dance classes, some very specific classes for them. We've chosen intentionally to be on the west side so that there's accessibility to these neighborhoods. We're just west of the tracks where, and north of the 300 North. If you're familiar with the Union Event Center, we're right around the corner there. This is Missio Dei, a non-denominational church that owns that building and then some industrial garages, and we lease from them and have our own entrance upstairs. So this is part of this is what our mission is. We believe in body positivity, similar to what you were talking to next. Karen, sorry, we'll just keep going. Thanks. And it's human first, cancer second. You all spoke of that, humanizing, and it is always the human first. And that we believe the dance should be accessible. So we remove all economic barriers. We provide unlimited, non-competitive scholarships. What that means is the family comes to us and they need help paying tuition. You got it. You don't have to meet any government guidelines, no poverty guidelines. Maybe dad lost his job this month. We were paying fine and now dad lost his job. So instead of pulling the kid out of dance, we provide you a scholarship. And we don't turn anyone away. We also provide all dance wear and dance shoes when you walk in through that door. If you would like it, you got it. And we do, sorry, I did not speak to these, but you can read them as I talk. This is really what our goal is, lifelong impact. I mean, we definitely want to make an impact in the moment that they're with us, but our vision, our goal is to see hundreds of thousands of lives of youth in particular change for the better, and that they become those that come to these meetings, that they're engaged in their community. So we provide a safe place to go to school. In the end, they feel like they are loved and they take that with them throughout their life. These pictures that you'll see are from our most recent Claire's Storybook Nutcracker. And I could have just put pictures of them on the stage, but there were these moments that I was like, this shows the heart of Rise Up. So you can go to the next one, Karen. Let me tell you about the girl in green. She had a stroke in May. She was a 3rd grader, paralyzed her, took out her speech. She was not able to be in our spring recital because she was sick. Happens. So sorry, love you, sent her a note, found out a couple of weeks later that she ended up having a stroke a week after that, COVID related, and lost all ability.
Well, in August, come July, August, our teachers started talking because semester was gonna start in August. We knew that she was now in a wheelchair. She was able to say 2 or 3 words. They were like, if Ari wants to come back, can we make it work for her? We would love to make it work for her. So however you are, we don't want that to be a barrier at all. So our tap teacher took her in, she did chair tap in her wheelchair. Eventually, she's like pushing her walker across the chair tapping, and you can see there, she's completely dancing. She could not be on stage for the full period of time, so it was choreographed in. She would just kind of slide off when she couldn't do the jumping part or when it was too long, and then she'd slide back in. We love our kids and we will take them how they come and do beautiful things with them. So perfect, again, like it's about the student, not about the dancer. This little one got on stage, wanted to, nobody has to perform, got on stage and I think saw the crowd and just hysteria, started crying. And she could just go to her teacher and her teacher just took her up and held her the whole time as she's, you know, teaching and modeling to the rest of their performance during that time. We do world-class ballet training. It's from American Ballet. But we don't only do ballet. That is our specialty, but we do jazz, contemporary, tap, and then for our littles, creative movement. And you can see what it develops. Frequent performances. So we do a rendition of the Nutcracker every year. We call it Clara's Storybook Nutcracker, because instead of Drosselmeyer, the uncle, it's Mother Goose who comes and gives the book, and it gets torn in the midst of fighting. And so Act 2, they rebuild the story. And you can go to the next slide, Karen. So you have Little Red Riding Hood and Little Bo Peep and her little sheep, but all the music of the traditional Nutcracker is the same, and you still have the wonderful party scene in the beginning. That happens every year. Then in May, we always have themed spring recitals where all the other genres of dance and ballet are celebrated. In the Nutcracker, it's ballet that's celebrated there, story ballet. And these are just some of the titles. There's part of our audience. We get about 1,000 total for every show. For every production, we'll do 2 to 3 shows. The Nutcracker this year was held in the Union Event Center and we had a sold out house, 500 people every night. And it's free to the community. So this is why I'm here, to share with you free access to art for you if you enjoy or want to see professional productions. It's no cost to the audience, as well as to youth and adults. If you know anyone from ages 3 to 100 plus, our oldest dancers are 74 right now, someone on point and in tap. And it's accessible. It's accessible. Next, some of our dancers and dancer watch zone. This year for our Nutcracker, we had 131 performances and 138 costumes. We reuse our costumes and modify them. So we have lots of volunteering opportunities. If you'd ever like to volunteer with us in modifying costumes and setting up chairs and other things as well. There's some stats for you. We're currently at about 150 students weekly. We are not capped. So that number will just continue to increase and has every year. Last year, we gave $60,000 in scholarship. This year, for 24-25, we run on an academic session. We plan at about 70,000. And again, that'll just keep increasing because we don't turn anyone away and we're not capped out. We have a staff of 12. Most of those are instructors, part-time. There's 5 on the leadership team and just 2 people are full-time. We're a pretty lean machine. That's what we offer. All those different genres and Monday through Saturday. Thanks, Karen. Next. Just really quickly, we'll go through so you can get some good warming heart pictures of all our different ages. And you can just go through them, yeah. All ages for ballet, contemporary, jazz, all ages. I don't have the adults there, but there is an adult jazz, tap, and some more of our adults. This, just in closing, I'll just read it to you, is our vision that we strive to see hundreds of thousands of students' lives change through being seen, known, and loved. and humans first, dancers second. We believe that when students, 3 years old or 74, anywhere in between, are seen, known, and loved, they're empowered to overcome obstacles, invest in their community, and grow into the people they're meant to be. We don't do this so that we harvest 150 dancers. That's not our goal. Our goal is that they come in, they dance with us for 10 years, or they dance with us for 6 months. But they leave being that much more confident in who they are and go out into the world. I have over here our newsletter, if you're interested in getting connected for events, fundraisers, or volunteers. And then I also have a flyer if you would like to take or know someone that might be interested in dance classes. So those are the 2 different flyers. Not sure if there's questions, but
Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Feel free, if you have questions, to stick around and ask them afterwards. We encourage you to, go ahead and keep supporting that. We'll turn over now to Kyle with the transportation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kyle. I'm a transportation planner in Salt Lake City, here to talk to you about a variety of transportation projects we have going on in Poplar Grove. Most of these are traffic calming projects, and traffic calming is basically just trying to slow down vehicles in the neighborhood, making it safer to walk and bike, be outside of a car. We had 15 people die on our streets in 2023, and that's unacceptable. And the best way to reduce those fatalities is just slowing down speeds. So speeds are the #1 factor in crashes that result in severe injuries and fatalities. So we can skip to the next slide, but the main message is that Livable Streets is a citywide traffic calming program, and a main focus of this program is going to be on the west side over the next couple of years. And at the end of the PowerPoint, will have a QR code that you can scan that takes you to the website where we have a survey where you can fill out and give your feedback. And this is a community-driven program. We're also using data, of course, but we really need your feedback to kind of highlight where we should be putting these traffic calming features, where streets feel unsafe, that kind of stuff. And then these are some examples of traffic calming, things like speed bumps, pedestrian refuge islands, curb extensions where we bump out the curbs a little bit at the curb ramps at the corners, raised crosswalks, that kind of stuff. Next slide, please. All right, and as I was putting this presentation together, it would have been really helpful to have one map of this entire area instead of 8 different project maps, but I'll try my best. And next time I'm here next month, I will have a better map for you all. This is over between Redwood Road and Cheyenne, between Indiana and 4th South. All these blue dots along Cheyenne are speed cushions. Just doing some traffic calming there in front of the school. This is also a neighborhood byway route. Our neighborhood byways are basically a network of streets that are local streets or primarily have residential housing along them and very low traffic volumes. And so we're taking these streets that are already fairly inherently safe to walk and bike on. But eventually, if you're walking or biking along this route, you're going to run into a busy street like Indiana or 4th South. And so we'll make improvements at the intersections to help you get across those busier streets. And then where we need to, where we find there's speeding issues on these local streets, we'll do traffic calming like these speed cushions. And then a couple of various other improvements, raised crosswalks and curb extensions near the school. This is over also between 9th South and 4th South, but between 9th West and I-15. We're doing a whole slew of improvements over here to kind of improve the connectivity of this neighborhood. If you go to the next slide, I have a zoomed in version of 2 of the more extensive ones. This is 9th West, both 5th and 6th South. 6th South is a neighborhood byway, but we're putting in some fairly large bulb outs here. Basically, the idea is just shortening up the crossing across 9th West. We have a lot of complaints about how dangerous 9th West is. And then this is where the library is at. So there's a lot of pedestrian and children activity crossing the street here. So trying to make this street safer. And then 6th South, if you go to the next slide, is fairly similar. It just has bike ramps. This is one of our neighborhood byways. And so there's an existing traffic signal here that's pedestrian push button activated. And the bike ramps basically just help, if you're on a bike, help you get up to the curb where you can push that button across the street and you temporarily become a pedestrian, I guess, and then you're back on your way. Next slide, please. All right, the big one, speed bumps on Indiana. These are speed cushions, and so they don't slow down emergency vehicles or cyclists. The idea is it's a speed bump with 2 little cutouts in them that are the width of like a fire truck. And so if there's a fire truck or an ambulance going down the street, they can straddle the center of the speed bump and it doesn't delay them. But we get a lot of complaints about this street. There's also, you know, a daycare, a church, Poplar Grove Park, an elementary school. It's adjacent, the 9-line trail. And so this is a really important corridor for a lot of our most vulnerable street users. And so we're gonna be putting in some speed cushions, and that should be coming in the next few months.
Hey, what speed cushion, where'd that name come from?
Oh, no.
Seems like a cushion to me. It seems like it's a steering issue here.
It's a speed hump. You can choose to either
Right.
drive over it where both of your wheels are going
Right.
over it, or you can drop one wheel, which is what I like to do.
That's what
We've got
everybody
these on 60s. We've got these all around the city now. But basically, if you're by yourself, I've noticed if you drop your wheel, it feels like less disruption because you're sitting in the driver's seat. So if you want to go experience them, 60s have a bunch of them. So Poplar Grove Neighborhood Byway, 8th West, between like 9th South and 6th South has this really nice tree-lined median. Great tree canopy that keeps temperatures cool in the summer and kind of slows down traffic speeds, calms the street. That swings west onto 6th South here, and so we're making some improvements to 6th South. There's a little pocket park over here, and then also where it connects to the Jordan River Trail, we're looking to make some improvements to the curb ramp, so it's easier for bikes to access, to get across 6th South here and access the Jordan River Trail. And then on Emery Street, we've got some improvements further south near Poplar Grove Park that we put in a couple years ago. And we're kind of expanding on that and expanding on our neighborhood byway traffic calming network by putting in a couple of traffic circles on Emery Street, and then an improved crosswalk at 4th South and Navajo as well. Next slide, please. And then these are just 2 bikeway projects that are happening in other areas of the city you might be interested about. This is the 3rd West Bikeway project. This is from 3rd South to 9th South. A few years ago, you may remember there was a very long construction project on 3rd West. This is not a street reconstruction project. We're just putting in a 2-way protected cycle track here. We're extending that bike lane that currently ends at the 9 line all the way up to Pioneer Park and 3rd South. So this is going to be a huge benefit to the bike network. Next slide, please. Cool thing about that 3rd West Bikeway project is that it connects into this project, which this runs from 9th West over to 2nd West. So this will be an entirely grade separated, off the street, 2-way shared use path from 9th West to 2nd West going over the 4th South Bridge here. We're basically just going to be narrowing up the bridge a little bit and using some of the shoulder space to create this. And there's gonna be some cool artwork on the bridge. And like I said, it's fully protected. So hopefully it's gonna be nice and safe as well. So I think that's everything I have.
I got a question.
Yeah, my apologies. I haven't updated this template, but our email address is now livablestreets@slc.gov. Rather than slcgov.com. I'll get that updated, but it's slc.gov. And feel free to scan that code. That will take you to our website, I believe, or maybe directly to the survey. But you take the survey. We're looking for your feedback. So, yeah.
And I live on 9th West. I've been trying for years to get people to slow down. Matter of fact, someone during a city project pulled the mirror off my car because they threw people over towards my, so I saw that. I just want to slow down. But can you do, someone was here one time with the difference between a speed bump and a speed up, where you're going over 9th West in the 5th and 6th, and you do humps there? Because that does slow people down, because there's not enough police. They're too busy throwing homeless in jail. Just kidding. But, you know, with stuff like that, obstructions like that, that would slow them down, I think.
Yeah, so the Livable Streets program is focused on, we have some criteria for what streets we're allowed to make improvements to. I believe there needs to be a speed limit of 25 miles an hour or less, 3 vehicle travel lanes or fewer, and primarily residential streets. And so right now we're not doing traffic calming on busier streets like 9th West.
9th West is 30, but no one goes 30.
Yeah, totally understand. It's one of the most popular streets we get complaints about, and because it's very dangerous.
Can I register?
No, I would love to see improvements to 9th West. I used to bike on it over to our streets division like every day. That's my main commute, and yeah, it's a really scary street. And we could potentially do some sort of speed
That's
bumps,
something
but-
that could be in the works in the future or something.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
the 2 lanes, north and south to 1 lane actually did a lot.
Yeah,
But so is it just because Ninth West, is it like a zoning issue? Like, is it just because it's a busy street or like? So as they expand, right, so I'm assuming that once the power district goes in, is there a way to then probably rezone like Ninth West to make it less, lower the speed limit from 30 to 25, and then you're allowed to do speed calming?
Oh, I believe we just lowered the speed limit from 35 down to 30.
We did, yeah,
Yeah,
but it'd be nice to go 30. I'd be happy with 30.
Sure, it's not a zoning issue, it's really just the fact that livable streets is intended to be, it's intended for like local residential streets. And Ninth West is more of like a collector street where it has much higher traffic volumes. But there are like other funding sources that could potentially be used to do safety improvements to Ninth West eventually.
What does it take to request one of the speed limit little stations that flashes your thing?
Yeah, you can just send us an email at livable.
Hey, I tried to get them too, and it didn't work. I said, just a speed limiting sign.
Well, those, you know, the stations where it puts the flashing sign.
Yeah, it says you're going too, yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
tried
then
to get that.
And then targeted
Well-
enforcement, speed enforcement, make people break speed on Ninth West. How do you request, I think if you make complaints to the city, they'll send more officers to do speed enforcement. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are two things.
Yeah, we also have the permanent radar feedback signs
Mhm.
that are actually pretty effective. They blow my mind that they're effective because you think that people
Well, you
know
just
what
get-
speed they're
you're not
going, but
aware,
then they
you
see
don't
that they're
realize.
speeding, like, whoa, yes.
Why is it impossible to get flashing lights for the school out on Fourth South and near Redwood Road? Is that, yeah, there's no flashing 20-mile-an-hour kids crossing leaving school.
Oh, yeah.
Why isn't that? I've tried for almost 10 years now to get a light out there.
Yeah,
I drive that road.
send us an email to Livable Streets. This is my first time hearing about that, but I'd love to follow up with you on that.
Cause just.
Speaking of follow-up, that'd be great. If you have other concerns to follow up with Kyle directly, that'd be awesome. I'm sure you have lots of great ideas for him, and I'm sure we'll all be happy to hear that at another point. So keeping it rolling, we can turn it over to Noah.
Great. Well, great to be with you all. My name is Noah Baskett. I'm the director of the Salt Lake City Public Library. So I started about a year ago, and one of my goals in my year was to go out to every single community council and just introduce myself, share a little bit about kind of where we're headed with the library system, and answer questions after we're wrapped up. I'll stick around. But I'll blast through my slides pretty quickly. We have a phenomenal library system here in Salt Lake. It's been such a gift. I grew up here in Salt Lake, moved away and moved back to be able to serve with our library system. I can't say I have any favorites, but Chapman sure is a pretty remarkable library, isn't it, folks?
Oh, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Whole city.
So yeah, I'll share a little bit about some things going on today. A little bit of a big project that we've been undertaking over the last year at the main library, and then some stuff where we're headed in the future. So next slide. We've got some data I'd love to share with you from fall of 2023, where we did some surveys. You might have recently filled out a survey from the live about kind of getting community feedback from the library. We don't have that data quite yet, so this is from the previous year, but I'll come back and share the new data. So next slide. Dallin Witt is one of your neighbors and our data analyst. So hopefully he can, if I'm lying on any of these slides, he's the guy that can tell you that I'm lying. Some pretty impressive numbers here. When we talked to residents as a whole, whether or not you are a library card holder, 91% of Salt Lake City residents said they regard the city library as a trusted institution. There are very few institutions that are trusted that could even get 10%, right? 91% of Salt Lake City residents say the library is a trusted institution. When you look at just library card holders, 94% of library patrons rated their experience as either positive or excellent. So people love their library system here in Salt Lake. It's a great system. And then almost 3/4 of our residents have a library card, which is a really, really high number for a city our size. Next slide. You might have seen this in the Deseret News. I don't know exactly where this data came from, to be completely honest with you, but it's in the newspaper. That must mean it's true, right?
2025.
According to this, story at least, we were ranked 15th most popular library in the world. We were right up there with like the Library of Commerce, a number of big ones. So anyway, a very respected library system.
Architects, that's what it was.
It's a pretty if you look at our downtown library, it's obviously a pretty impressive building. Some other stats, over the last 12 months, over 1 million, unique patron visits, over 1.1 million unique patron visits. We're seeing an increase in numbers. We're actually seeing us kind of get to where we were before COVID. So as people are getting back into post-COVID life, people are in droves coming back to the public library system. Every single day, we're seeing over 3,000 visits across the city to a local library. And you can see some of the places where some of the big increases were over the last year were Marmalade, Day Riverside, and the main library. A big project we've been undergoing over the last year, you may be aware of, is putting a brand new roof on our main library. It's been a big project. It's been a hard project. What I am told is that I wasn't living in Salt Lake at the time, but when they built that building 21 years ago. Yeah, 2000, it was right after the Olympics, so 2003, I think. Apparently, the first day that it was open to public was when the leaks on that roof started to happen. So it's kind of a long time coming that we've had to invest to be able to make that work, to be able to do long-term waterproofing, as well as making it a better space for all Salt Lakers. There's a couple slides that we can blast through here pretty quickly. This is what it's going to look like. We are planning on opening to the public May 17th. Put that on your calendar. We will share more information. We're not moving that date. It's going to be the best public view in downtown Salt Lake, open to everybody. It's your space by virtue of being a Salt Laker. You can see just some really incredible landscape improvements that we're doing. So a place where you can kind of just hang out and grab a cup of coffee at our coffee shop that's coming into that building, and grab a book and just enjoy the beautiful views of downtown and the Wasatch Range. We had over 3,000 programs over the last year, all different kinds of programming that we do at every single one of our branches. I'll just mention, you can see we do cultural festivities, we do a lot of educational programming, and what we call digital literacy, kind of helping people better navigate computers and how to use them to do a lot of different things, and then hosting all kinds of author talks, films, and other kinds of community gatherings. Here at Chapman, I don't know if any of you all went to the Poplar Grooves summer concert series. I went to a couple of them this year. We held Las Posadas celebration in December. We held Welcome Week in partnership with Salt Lake City at that branch to welcome recent arrivals and immigrants to the community. So we're doing all kinds of fun stuff across the system, as well as right here in your backyard in Chapman. Some of the things though that you might not be aware of that I just wanted to make sure you were, in addition to our physical collection. So the books that you see when you walk into Chapman, we have a really robust and growing digital library. That's things like ebooks that you can. Okay, well, fair enough. We could come talk to me later. Probably you're talking about maybe some of the holds that we have sometimes.
Just in general, ebooks are great.
Ebooks are great. Ebooks are great. They're expensive for libraries. You may not be aware of. I could talk about that all day, but they're great. It's a way to be able to access them, as well as audiobooks, magazines. If you're a news junkie, we have a new app called Press Reader that you should definitely check out, where it's like thousands of newspapers across the world that you have access to for free by virtue of your public library card. We have a movie service called Canopy. It's like Netflix, but it's free. All kinds of stuff. Homework help, languages, you can Mango and what's the other one? Rosetta Stone for free, right? That's expensive software, but you get it for free. Our creative lab that we have downtown, all these services that you have access to by virtue of being a Salt Laker with your library card. Cry-cut if you're into scrapbooking, 3D printing. We have a sound booth if you want to record music or a podcast, sewing, embroidery, vinyl stickers, all kinds of stuff that you can access for free. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, you can sign up for a class online, or we have drop-in hours. We can just come to the downtown branch and access that stuff for free. And we've got staff that can kind of help and show you how to use the technology. So if you haven't done that, you should definitely come down. Hear Utah Music. Anybody heard of this before? All right, great. So this is really cool. A really unique aspect of the Salt Lake City Public Library is We've got thousands of albums of music of specific Utah authors that we have as like a streaming service online. Anybody can access that through our website. If you're a library card holder, you can download full albums. And we have a really incredible group of local musicians that serve as a panel that essentially we do a call for music. We get music from local musicians, and that panel decides what online collection. So you should check that out tonight if you haven't. Yeah, and then just a couple quick words. We are kind of a bit on our next chapter as we head into 2025, 26. Our plan is to be doing a strategic planning process in the next fiscal year that starts for us in July. And what that means is you'll be hearing a lot more from me and other library staff, really trying to get your all's feedback and saying what does Poplar Grove want to receive from its public library system moving forward. So we're going to really appreciate your all's insight and feedback and community neighborhood perspective, because ultimately we exist to serve you all. So I'm really excited about hearing more from what you want to see from your public library systems we plan for our future. We're also doing some work around a number of our library facilities. There's just some work that we need to do to improve them. Chapman's in pretty good shape. There's still some things we want to do with that building as well, and maybe you all have some ideas that you can tell us about. All right. It's a limited footprint. It's an old Carnegie building, right? Just incredible. I think built in 1918, I believe. So it's what a remarkable blessing for this neighborhood. But as we think about our new library facilities plans, we're going to seek your all's feedback as well. And yeah, ultimately, the library system, more and more, we're about connecting people, yes, with information and books, but also connecting people with all kinds of resources and opportunities, and ultimately playing a role in connecting people to one another. So that's what we do, and we exist to serve you all. And so again, I'm really grateful to serve this city through the library system, and I'm excited to work with you all in the years to come. That's my contact information. I'll stick around for questions. Yeah, feel free to take a snapshot of that. And yeah, thank you all. Great to be with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Noah. We really appreciate that. As a former associate librarian at Day Riverside myself, and a longtime substitute, we love the library. So with the last presenter, Aaron, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Aaron Barlow with the Planning Division. The same division that brought you that building that you weren't very happy with. It's the process. I'm not sure why we put the most boring subject last, but here we are. This proposal is essentially what the purpose I'm here today is to gather your feedback on this proposal that I'm going to present to you today. It is a plan really to combine two of our multifamily zoning districts the city has into something that is more effective and actually serves as a moderate density community. So I'm just pointing out here where we're at. And you can see these properties in blue are the affected properties. The dark blue is RMF 45. The light blue is RMF 35. It's been next slide. And that's just an enhanced view. Next slide. All right, next. What do we know? Yeah, so what do we know? These zones have not been working since they were developed in 1995. Really only a quarter of them allow multifamily uses. That's 3 or more units per building. A couple other things, they're not wide enough for development. Back in the day, we used rods to measure rods and chains, and 3 rods is 49.5 feet. And the minimum lot width in this district is 50 feet, meaning that many properties are not wide enough for development. And then almost half are smaller than 5,000 square feet. And that's the minimum size for a single family house in these districts. So can't even build anything in this district. It makes things really challenging for property owners and folks. All right. And then only 4% of these properties have seen development since 1995. Next slide. That's just illustrating, only 75% of the properties are too small. Next slide. So some things that we're trying to do to make this district actually work and not sit stagnant. Create a form-based zone, meaning there will be different regulations for different types of buildings. A single family house will have different regulations than a large apartment building in this district. Modifying lot width requirements, lot size requirements, and adding design standards. A lot of properties in this district, there's no requirement for materials, front porches, the number of windows, all sorts of things you want to see on a house when it's being built in your neighborhood. Let's see. There's also some more flexibility for development as far as the location and placement of buildings. And there's some bonuses as well for preserving buildings on properties. Next slide. The whole goal essentially is to establish this missing middle type of housing. We have detached single family, we have larger apartments. And there's a lot of pressure to build more and more apartment buildings in our community, as you have seen.
Why?
What? Well, have you seen how expensive rent
Yeah,
is?
who wants more and more? But go ahead.
Yeah.
Because you're telling us it? Okay.
We're builders. Yeah, the builders are saying, yeah, but
Has the money. We have a housing shortage.
and essentially studies have shown.
Shortage? Yeah, we got too many people.
Buy a house.
Do you want me to finish or not?
Yes.
Please, carry on.
Okay, essentially, the amount of housing that is not available, the expensive housing, the shortage of housing is proportionally related to the amount of homelessness in the community. It is consistently
Say that
shown.
again, please.
So the more expensive housing is in a community, the higher the homeless population, meaning when there's a shortage of housing, there's a higher homeless population. And you see that in cities like, all along the West Coast here, California. You go to the Midwest, or even, I went to Albuquerque and they have an area just like the Jordan River, immaculate, no camps. It's wild, because housing there is so much cheaper than it is here. We're trying to find ways to fit units into our community without changing that essential fabric, and that's the goal of this proposal. Next slide. All right, so what does this proposal entail? It will focus on building forms, so there's different types. There's what's called an urban house, which is a house that can have up to 2 units. The door can be anywhere for that second unit. 2-family, which is just, 2 doors facing the street. Row houses, a cottage court or cottage development, which is, a bunch of little houses facing an inner court. Great way to invest in property with your friends. And then vertical multifamily development. And the number of lots, our number of units allowed on a property is determined by the lot size. Right now, it's very confusing to calculate how many units are allowed on a lot. We're trying to simplify that. Next slide. Okay, so there's some general standards. There's a lot here. We are cutting the maximum lot width to 110 feet to push so that when a developer comes in with a project, they cannot take the entire block and create it into a development. They have to split up projects into smaller chunks. 110 feet is about 1/4 of a historic Salt Lake City block. They're about 440 feet wide on each side. And then more flexibility on lot and building location. Right now, it takes a lot of steps in order to create a row house or maybe build houses in the back of a property. Let's say you have a really large backyard and you want to build a couple homes back there to sell. Right now, to subdivide that takes it's a long process and sometimes illegal. The idea here is to create opportunities for home ownership by allowing individual lots inside of, like, let's say we have a row house. Each house can have its own property and be sold. And there's an issue with financing with condominiums, which makes things challenging. This is to enable that type of property ownership that is not a condominium. Then there's unit bonuses we talked about. When someone preserves a duplex or a single family house on their property, there's a bonus on that property for 2 additional units. And then, for anything larger than 3 units, you can have up to 4 additional units on that property. Next slide. Some design standards, requiring porches, windows, high quality materials. And there's also some step back requirements when adjacent to single family properties and historic buildings. The idea is to kind of limit the impact on adjacent properties. Next slide. And parking. I know it's a controversial subject, but generally in this district, it can vary from one stall required per unit up to two, depending on if it's a single family house, a row house. If there's more than 2 bedrooms, the proposal here is to standardize that in this district so that it's just 1-to-1. And most of these properties are within a 1/4 mile of transit. They are in these areas that are already highly served by bike lanes and the projects that transportation is working on. So the goal is, we can either house a car or house a room. And you've seen many of the schools close in the community. The goal here is to add that family size housing. And if you have to choose between a parking stall and a room, we'd rather have a room so we can have a 3-bedroom home as an option. Next slide. And this is just a summary of those building forms we talked about. Essentially, they all have different heights, different requirements for each one. A vertical building is going to be up, or multifamily can be up to 45 feet, but it will have more specific standards. They'll have step backs. You'll have a landscape yard requirement. There are more strict like amenity requirements for parks and benches and things that'll be available to the residents in that multifamily. Next slide. So here's some examples of why this needs to happen. This is a property in the avenues where there are 4 units currently on 3,400 square feet. Right now, you could only have 1 unit on there legally. With this proposal, brings up to 4 units allowed with the 750 square feet minimum lot area.
But that's one house right there.
That's one house, has 4 units in it.
So what's a unit?
Like
Living bedroom?
a dwelling unit. Like
Like 4
Right,
different.
they've taken that house, and they've divided inside into sections, so it's not really, you're not adding anything to that lot.
No.
You're just cutting up a house?
No, go back one slide.
Adding
They've already split it up. It's already an existing apartment building or split up house. You can see those 2 doors here on the front, and there's probably 1 upstairs, probably 3 on the main floor. The proposal is to bring this into legal compliance. And allow the density that essentially already exists in this zone, but was outlawed in 1995. Next slide. This one's a little more intense. There are 7 units on a 4,000 square foot lot. It's a historic apartment. The density is not quite going to be up to this scale, but you can see with this change, we can allow up to 5 units on a property of 4,000 square feet. Next slide. So this is where we're at right now. I'm visiting community councils all over the city, and I'm here to gather feedback. I have comment cards, so we can take your thoughts back and we can plug them into the proposal. We have a planning commission work session on February 12th. That's just to work with the planning commission on their thoughts. March 12th is a public hearing with the community and with the planning commission. That's when you can go and actually comment at the planning commission. That's at the city hall at 5:30. And then in April, we're hoping to transmit that to city council. And there is a website with a lot more information at this short web address, and that I'll make sure that's available to you on the Poplar Grove website as well, so you can visit that. And that's the end of the next slide. I think there's my contact info here as well. There's me. And I'm happy to answer any questions after. I see some people commenting to each other, so I'm sure there's some thoughts, and I'm happy to stick around and.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. We really appreciate you coming in and sharing that with us. Again, this is just the first step in that process, so please feel free to reach out to him right now after the meeting is wrapping up. Again, as a community council, we love all your participation. I also value your time, and I know we've gone over a little bit past what we had hoped to have our allotted time, but we had a lot of great discussions and a lot of great presentations. As a reminder, this meeting has been filmed and we will post this onto YouTube, onto our channel. And so you'll have the availability to go back and recap anything that you might have missed, along with getting the contact information we put into a recap email, and we should be sending that out in the next few days. Are there any major pressing issues from the board that I forgot to bring up or that people need to bring up in the room?
Doesn't look like it.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you all for coming. Our next meeting will be the next month on February 26th. We hope to have you attend and continue to support and help build the community. Thank you, everybody.